Broadcasting from around the stars, this is Fatherhood News Update. Good evening, our top stories tonight. Antobri. Welcome to the Fatherhood. The suffering of LHS 1848. The conflict for England Depot. And sports update in the nebula. We start our broadcast today with the good news that our expansion has been completed and the Fatherhood are now in the Antobri star system. A special thank you to the BGS team that worked for several cycles to ensure this expansion was peaceful, and now we have this report from Natalie on what this star system has in store for the Fatherhood.
The system of Antobri welcomes the Fatherhood, this two-star system that has 16 celestial bodies filled with Earth-like worlds, icy bodies and high metal content worlds, many of them landable and ripe for explorations and gathering materials such as sulfur and iron. This star system is home to over 1.3 billion citizens, and now following the expansion over 168 million of our citizens now can call this system their home. And as for stations both orbital and planetary, well, this star system does not disappoint, having 7 stations in orbit and 2 planetary stations, 5 of which have large landing pads, so calling all traders, bring your Type 9s or Type 7s and light up the commodity boards. But we are not alone in the black. Here in Antobri, 6 factions already call this amazing system their home. The largest of these are the Crimson Electronics Limited, an independent faction that specializes in limpet and chaff production, but some say they are developing more advanced technologies and weapons. It is also home to the Green Party of Antobri, like the Fatherhood, a Federation faction that works tirelessly to protect the Earth-like planet of Antobri A1, and they are leaders in terraforming technology. Another Federation faction that calls this star system home, a Social DP Camelopardalis Values Party, a neighboring faction that has its home system on DP Camelopardalis, where they are in active war with Forlog Blue Investments Company. This faction is not native to the star system, and in their marketing materials state that they have high hopes to expand soon to another star system. However, democracy is not the only system of government here, with the dictatorship faction of Autocracy of Antobri and official Antobri Defense Party still a formidable power within the system, controlling a number of citizens, and they see themselves as the front line in the defense of the star system from alien attacks. Finally, this system is the home of the small independent corporation of Antobri Public Incorporated, this small ammunition provider that has its hopes on expansion within the star system to increase their profit per share value and become the main arms dealer both locally and to neighboring system. But this system also has some hidden locations, from the Autocracy of Antobri's slim chromium drilling structure that funds the Autocracy lavish way of life, to the Crimson Electronics' limited research and development military base, 8 kilometers away from Treschow Dock, and Antobri Public Incorporated Crooked Grove Gardens that were taken from the Green Party of Antobri during the Civil War. And most impressive of all, is the Riker-class reformatory of Crimson Electronics Limited, that dominates the atmosphere over Antobri B1. I am sure these structures will play a vital part in the coming cycles as the Fatherhood establish a stronger foothold in the star system and more citizens fight the tyranny and slave-like conditions of the dictatorships and corporations of this star system. Natalie, in the Antobri star system, reporting for the Fatherhood News.
Thank you, Natalie, and from all of us here at the Fatherhood News, we would like to offer a huge welcome to the citizens of Antobri, fly safe, commanders, and welcome to the Fatherhood. Now, Ross346 is in civil war over England Depot with the factions of Ross346 Crimson Electronics and Social Ross346 Coalition are in all-out conflict. These two native factions have long been in political disagreement. However, this cycle the talks have broken down and war has come to this small star system. Our reporter Veronica Smolinski sent this special reports from Ross346.
England was a country in the 21st century that was part of the United Kingdom, a small island state that for majority of the 19th century dominated the world. Today its legacy lives on in 14 stations and planetary bases spanning the inhabited space, with many native factions of those stations still believe that the return of the monarch is the only thing that would bring stability to their stations. This belief has become a religion to many, with traditions of trooping the color and the 4-yearly prayer to the Lions of 1966 and the symbolic prayer, "It's coming home, football is coming home," echoing in the local cantinas and lower deck bars of every station that carries England's name. However, England's legacy does not live on only in the large stations and planetary bases. Local depots also proudly carry England's name, and one of those depots is in the Fatherhood space of Ross346. This depot was created by the Ross346 Crimson Electronics as a shipping base on moon of Ross346 2G. The depot is known for its creation of synthetic fabrics and is a frequent stop for the mega ship 15 Lambda Aurigae I, a Hogan-class hauler on its trade route, that has empowered Ross346 Crimson to raise its own security force and obtain a seat at the Council for Ross346. In recent cycles, a number of smaller factions have felt that England Depot should be more than a shipping warehouse, but it should apply to become the 15th base of England. This would mean that Crimson Electronics would have to share the profits with all factions in the star system, this group calling themselves the Social Ross346 Coalition that was formed by the signing of the Ross346 England Treaty on February 2, 3300. This treaty's main aim is to expand the England name within the Ross346 star system and also support the galactic expansion of England in the inhabited space. On June 15, 3306, all talks were suspended, and moments later a coordinated attack on key strategic locations belonging to Ross346 Crimson Electronics took them by surprise. The coalition attacked with an armada of ships that overpowered local defenses and has put Crimson Electronics scrambling to defend England Depot from this sustained onslaught. Reports of Anaconda wings decimated the Pythons and Eagles of the Crimson Electronics underfunded security force. Crimson Electronics has issued a number of missions to commanders in the star system requesting help. However, Fatherhood Central Command has simply stated this should not be our commander's focus at this time.
The question on the use of Guardian technology outside of combat has split the human worlds, with one side highlighting the benefits this new technology could bring, to enable new star bases to be built and reduce power requirements for those that are currently on power rations, and those who have spoken against these unknown systems and how humanity needs to be pure and advance at its own pace for the good of all. Our reporter, Jadabro, traveled to LHS 1848 where this question has caused real human cost.
Citizens of LHS 1848 don't have time for the Fatherhood leadership to debate in the halls of power on the virtues of infrastructure design. This issue has split the Fatherhood scientific community between those that believe Guardian technology should be integrated into the star bases and those who call themselves pure humans. However, the real human cost of this gridlock is on show in this star system more than most. The small native faction of LHS 1848 Blue Ring have seen over many cycles now their habitation areas' maintenance fall dangerously low. The installation of the new bio-waste system that has failed on a number of star ports are failing here again, increasing the rate of sickness amongst these low-skilled workers of the faction, and the divergence of funds for education to assist in the hunt for Raxxla has left many teaching digital feeds underfunded and limited to 2 hours a cycle. This all came to a head during June 16, a day that saw 20 protesters that felt hopeless and unheard, took flight and painted their sidewinders with the color blue, and traveled to Schwan Port in the Fatherhood native star system of Heijiangai. This luxury tourist attraction has been voted most relaxing place to visit in the Fatherhood space, with state-of-the-art facilities and its crowning jewel of zero-G sensory spa. However, on that day, the sidewinders one by one entered the mail slot and blocked all incoming ships in an act of peaceful protest, but one by one they were destroyed by the station automated defense systems. As word spread within the starport, chants of "turn it off" can be heard across the starport, but the lasers kept firing and the docking bay filled with the debris and blood of the protesters. The news of this reached the people of LHS 1848 Blue Ring, and civil unrest activities on Ubay Kirov installation, Gagarin Dock and even the military base of Bachagalupi survey has taken hold, targeting the Fatherhood, with signs of some humans are more equal than others chanted at key starport locations and mission boards calling for attacks on Fatherhood ships. In response, the Fatherhood have outlawed all trade with the LHS 1848 Blue Ring and have declared this faction to be a terrorist faction. This order has reduced the faction influence to 1% and forced LHS 1848 Blue Ring to declare a bust state, leaving their mission boards begging for donations to run their basic operations. For now this remains a peaceful protest. Let us hope the powers that be can reach a solution before more blood is shed. Jada Broho, reporting for the Fatherhood News.
Now it's time for our weekly PvP roundup with Joanna. How has this week been for the PvP Cup?
Well, it's been an exciting week this week. Let's look at the tables and all the action. In Group A, Commanders Talon 180 and Benini are sitting in top position with 2 wins each, with Talon 180 taking the win against Commanders Triforce Wisdom and Coyote 313, and Commander Benini taking the win against Commanders Alternative and Spenzinator. And in Group B, Commander Wolfman faced off against Commander Slater Jones, and after maintaining sub 20% integrity for over 8 minutes and continuing to fight to the bitter end, Commander Wolfman exploded and gave the win to Commander Slater Jones. In Group C, Commander 3let maintained a dominant position in the match between him and Commander Darksider. In this 18 minutes of combat, Commander 3let did not lose his shields once, while maintaining fixed laser fire, stripping the shield of Commander Darksider, followed by a tsunami of multi-cannon rounds that ripped through his hull. In the end, Commander Darksider was forced into submission at the 20% mark. And finally, in Group D, Commander Spidey's match against Commander Huckleberry's FDL was a nail-biter, with Commanders Huckleberry's FDL dominating for the majority of the match, targeting modules and disrupting several internal systems for Commander Spidey, and even destroying the canopy, leaving minutes of air. But in an amazing comeback, Commander Spidey continued the attack, and after a few hull smashes, the FDL sustained system failures that gave Commander Spidey the edge to finish the FDL and take the win. Back to you, Jim.
That is all from me and the team here at the Fatherhood News Team. Remember, don't dream of the stars, fly amongst them. Stay safe, Commanders, and good night.